And recently transplanted over to the Knoxville location to open up our East Tennessee region.
If you're in Eastern Tennessee, yes, we want to build for you.
Yes. So I also get a lot of questions about land prep and just what that process looks like.
So in your time here, what's been your best or craziest thing or funnest project that you've been a part of?
I mean, I think the funnest project I've been a part of is
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Barndo Show. I'm super excited today because I have Miss Amanda here, and you are now running our Tennessee office. So tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you've been doing and what you're doing now.
Absolutely. So my name is Amanda Verrips, and I am originally from the upstate and recently transplanted over to the Knoxville location to open up our East Tennessee region. And I am in sales. So I started off as Olivia Fatah's assistant at our Duncan office. She is the #1 rock star in the upstate, and learned a lot from her, gleaned a lot of knowledge, and then kind of went out on my own in January. And then the opportunity for Tennessee came up. So I took it and moved my family back in May, and we're currently in the build out process in East Tennessee. And then I also wear the hat of client experience coordinator and then office admin.
Yeah, you're doing a lot of stuff.
A lot.
A lot of stuff. The cool thing, I'm glad you brought up the Olivia thing, because if I could make a perfect formula, it is to come in and work hand in hand with a seasoned agent like that, because you learn so much faster.
Yeah.
And it was almost like we put you in a cannon and just shot you out, because it was no time that you were there. And then, I came to you and was like, hey, I need you to just go sales. And you started crushing it. And then the opportunity came for Tennessee. And I was like, I would really love if somebody from our Duncan office could go up there, because launching with someone with experience, and you were just like, absolutely. So,
that's right.
It was incredible. Like if there was a better recipe for launching new locations, even having someone that had kind of worked through that process and has the opportunity to grow. Because I guarantee when you came in working with Olivia, you had no idea that less than a year later you would be pioneering a new office.
Yep.
So that's good stuff. Tell everybody, so where exactly is the office in Tennessee?
So we're in the greater Knoxville area. We're actually located in Seymour, which is between Knoxville and Pigeon Forge. We're right off Chapman Highway, so it's easy access from a couple different directions. We have frontage road, so we have a lot of traffic going by our new office. And then we're putting in a showroom in addition to our office spaces, so clients can come and do their spec meetings. They'll be able to meet with agents on site, and it's a great location.
So some of the stuff that we've done since we've been up there, you guys have been busy. Like, it seems like every day you are like, hey, we joined this and we did this. Right. And so we're trying to make a splash in Eastern Tennessee. What's really cool is we've always kind of tried to pre-sell areas. And so we had started pre-selling Tennessee. And the unique thing about that Eastern Tennessee market was it's moving faster than any market. Like, I really believe that market in the next 12 months could be at least tied for the largest share of the company, if not the biggest market that we're in. It's been kind of wild to see the explosion of growth in Eastern Tennessee.
That's right.
You guys are just killing it up there. And so some of the stuff that we're involved in up there, like, tell us.
Yeah, so we recently joined the Sevierville Chamber, which is the county chamber. We're also part of the Seymour Chamber of Commerce. We've been doing a ton of networking events, connecting with real estate agents. We are, meeting with local business owners. We've attended a few grand openings for other, ribbon cutting ceremonies for other businesses that are opening up in the county. And we're just trying to set down roots, let people know that we're here. Next month, we will be at the Knoxville Home Expo. And then 2 weekends later, we'll be doing our grand opening.
Yep. So the dates on that home show in Knoxville?
It's going to be August 10th and 11th. And we will be there all day.
Yep. That's going to be awesome. I'm excited about that, because the home show is kind of something that we've only done in the upstate. And, you know, we've tried to coordinate to get into some of our other markets, home shows. And what's weird is they're normally all the exact same time. So we have this massive Southern Home and Garden show that we do in Greenville. And literally that same weekend is like Charleston, Raleigh, all these areas kind of all do it almost the same exact weekend every year. And so when you called me about Knoxville, when we joined the HBA up there, it was like perfect because it's almost 6 months after. So they kind of do theirs going into the fall. Right. And so I'm excited about the opportunity to expand out there and do some home show stuff because we love doing home shows.
Yeah.
It's just a cool way to meet people. So if you're in the Knoxville area and you're interested in barndominiums, try to shoot out there and see us there. I'm not sure if this will hit before it starts, but if not, knowing that we're there in Seymour right off the main highway is going to be a great opportunity for people to get in there. And when is the grand opening of the office?
It's going to be August 24th. So we're going to have a ribbon cutting ceremony with the chamber, and we invite everyone to come out. We're going to have food and refreshments. You'll be able to see our showroom, which is going to have 2 huge kitchens put in and all of our samples, and talk with agents if you have questions about building.
That's awesome. And you guys have a pretty big area. So talk about the coverage area up there. Yeah,
so we have clients building pretty much from Washington County over to Cumberland County and then down to Ray County. So we are covering most of Eastern Tennessee. The goal is obviously to build out and expand up towards Johnson City and down towards Chattanooga. And that will probably happen after the start of the year, so in early 2025. But for now, we are covering probably about 13 or 14 counties in Eastern Tennessee.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I know when you guys released the map of what we were going to cover, I was like, man, that's a big area.
It's a big area.
That's a big area, but that's fun. I'm excited about it. So talk a little bit about like when you started here, because you obviously came with real estate experience. You know, some of the things that we do different. It's a learning curve sometimes for people coming into the organization, but also when we're talking to clients, they're not accustomed to the way we operate either. So like, it's refreshing if you understand it, but sometimes there's like people don't know what to expect.
Right.
So talk a little bit about like the process of how people get into the company through onboarding, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a little bit of real estate experience, more on like a transaction coordinator side, executive assistant side. But the way that we help clients, I think, is really a unique process that's different from other new home builders. So we take clients through an onboarding experience. And one of the first things we do with clients is have a discovery call. So when you go to our website and fill out a contact form, you'll put in your county and state. And the cool thing is you'll be directed directly to the office that is closest to where you're building. So you'll be talking to an agent who is local to your area. So they're aware of, you know, the counties, they're aware of, you know, the land topography, all of that. So when you hop on a call with them, we'll do a discovery call. And that's when we're going to learn about all of your build goals. And just what your dreams are, you know, what your land setup is. And then, you know, we talk to you about onboarding. And so onboarding, I like to tell our clients that it's a due diligence period. So we are walking you through every step of the build before we get to doing the build. And I think it is such a valuable process. And I think that, you know, in terms of understanding the full scope of work that needs to take place before we ever break ground, we do that all on the front end. So there's cost transparency. We're collecting all of your important documents. We're getting, you know, quotes for grading and septic and well, and we're really exploring what does it cost to build your designed home on your piece of property.
Yep. Yeah. And the beauty of that, and we talk about this all the time, but still 50% of the phone calls start with, what's onboarding? You know, so if you heard this before, you're going to hear it again and again and again because it's different. It's kind of the Barndo difference is choose us not use us. And so you get to take that baby step, walk through, get everything you've got, you know, $5,000, $7,000 invested, right? But you're not committed to having to pull the trigger on the whole project. Yep. And we're not going to blindside you with surprises. If you're going to have a surprise, it's going to rear its head in the beginning. And so if there's a cost hurdle, if there's a land hurdle, you're going to know that relatively quick. Yep. And so you can plan for it, and it gives you the opportunity to where we're not 6 months into the process, or you've signed a contract to build, and now you're getting hit with surprise fee, surprise fee, surprise fee, and you're on the hook to pay it.
That's right.
So we're trying to do some of that planning on the front end, and honestly, we're looking for problems. Yeah. We're looking for what that hurdle is going to be, so that we can find it and find a solution around it to keep you in budget. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes it's high emotion in sales. You're dealing with people's dreams, and people can spend what they can spend. And so the objective is to work together, become a team, and identify the hurdles, identify where you're going to have problems. What's the budget buster? What's this? Hey, we designed a home and it won't quite fit on the property because of the way the land's sitting, or we did this. And so now we have the opportunity to find that problem, diagnose it, go back in, adjust, and move forward, so that when you get to the point of signing a contract, you know exactly what you're spending. And so that's a huge piece in our process. And so and the whole, you talked about being the experience coordinator. So we talked about that. Like, we just did an episode with Haley and Jordan, kind of rolling that out and what that looks like. But in that, the goal is that you have a great experience building your home. Not only do you get the home that you signed up to buy, but one thing that we're trying to become better at and be the best at is you had the best experience possible. Nothing was a surprise during the build process. Nothing, blindsided you. You may see something on that front end when the proposal comes back. We were like, oh my God. But the cool thing, we're not contractually under anything that we can't change at that point.
That's right.
So the onboarding process is, there's no way that I would do it any other way, because it gives us the opportunity. It puts the power back in the client's hands to pull out and say, hey, we're going to have to wait. We're going to have to explore other options, or hey, let's navigate through this and let's figure out a path forward, so that when we do sign the contract, we know. Right?
That's right.
And so that's been really cool. So in your time here, what's been your best or craziest thing or funnest project that you've been a part of, or,
I think the funnest project I've been a part of is moving to Tennessee and launching that market. Like, that one has been like my little baby for the last 2 months, and just having, honestly, a lot of ownership over that process. And leadership has put a lot of faith in me to navigate that, and to take care of all of the details associated with that. In terms of my clients, for me, the best thing that's happened is I've had really great feedback from my clients. They have gone through the process and they have enjoyed it. We're breaking ground on most of their homes right now, or we're in the process of through framing and stuff. And so to just see people come to me with dreams, and then we've figured out all of the details, and now we're building the home. And that process still just brings me so much joy. And it still amazes me about the speed at which we move through that. But also just the relationships that we're building with our clients as we go through that process and bring their dreams into reality.
Well, the cool thing about you is you're probably, from a planning aspect, above and beyond what most people normally you think of sales and you think you got this really high pressure closing type mentality of just get it done, and that's not it at all. Most people that are in our sales pipeline probably don't have any sales experience like that. Right. It's very custom tailored, but you specifically are a planner. So when we sent you to Knoxville, it was 24 hours after you said you were ready to do it. We had a bullet point execution list of this is what needs to happen. Here's the dates on which it needs to happen. Here's all this. And you basically took it by the horns. We had an idea to go there. I spent a couple weeks up there looking at properties and moving around, and I just remember saying Amanda, just make a decision. Yep. And you just did it. And from a leadership experience standpoint, not having to do every single piece of it, because when we launched Duncan, Ross and I basically did that together, and we finding the office and doing all the administrative pieces and putting it all together. When we did Somerville, it was a TJ show. I had to go down there and Alicia helped find that office and setting it up and what we needed and how we needed it and building all the teams down there. Like I was going to Somerville. I basically spent 7 months of that year in Somerville trying to get Somerville up and running. When we launched Done, I was very hands-on, found the office space, executed the lease, hired the first few people that came in there, and like was very involved in the, getting things going. And Alicia kind of stepped in and ran most of the like showroom aspect. But with Knoxville, you just been doing it all. And so it's been really cool. Like I remember you called, you were like, we found this place. This is the one we want. You guys went up and met. And then we have Tanya and Mark up there who are locals. And so you guys just have like this dynamic office culture. Y'all work together really well. Like you guys are posting pictures in there, like ripping the carpet up off. So you've just like taken it by storm. And I love that about you. And like, if you have clients that are coming in to work with you, like I can tell you firsthand, like you will not find a sales agent that's going to pay more attention to detail than Amanda.
That's right.
And like, I remember in the beginning being like, we need details. We don't need this level of detail. And you're like, this is just the way my brain works. Right. And so your attention to detail is awesome. And so, the whole launch of Tennessee has been the smoothest launch we've ever had. And I give you a lot of credit for that. So
thank you.
I appreciate you doing that. So talk a little bit about your team up there.
Yeah.
And who all you got working and plans for growth and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have Mark Wilhite, who is our project manager, and he is currently navigating builds again from Washington County down to Ray. We have about 12 builds going on right now. And he is just in his truck driving all the time, getting our sub base built out. Just such a great leader. And he also just takes responsibility of every aspect of his job. So very, very proud of him. And then we have Tanya. She comes from, a real estate background. She's done some, leasing stuff in the past. She is just embraced sales and is just one of the kindest, sweetest people I've ever met. She's very, very driven. She's already got quite a few onboards. Her clients are loving her. She will answer the phone at any time, which is shocking. I'm like, you got to have some off work hours. But yeah, she's very, very excited for the showroom to be built out. And she's a Tennessee native, so she's very familiar with the trades in the area, with, the land setup. There's a lot of topography differences in Eastern Tennessee. And so she's very familiar with the counties and all of that out there.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, being here, the staple of the organization's core values.
Yes.
Like we beat it into everybody's head. Like this is the most important piece. You can be really good at your job. You can be a really high performer, but if you don't embrace core values, you're not a fit here. And I know that you have them.
Yeah.
But
thank you.
Being here and living them, what's your favorite?
I have two. I mean, I really do strive to be the best at everything that I do. So I wake up every day trying to put my best foot forward for clients, for myself, for, the projects that we have coming down the pipeline. But I also really love what I do. Right. And it gets me up every morning. I haven't had a career experience where I am like, chomping at the bit to get into work. Like I just wake up every morning, very, very excited to get into the office. I love doing discovery calls. I love it. It's probably my favorite aspect of the job next to clients getting through financing and realizing that this is moving forward. So I would say always, loving what I do. Yeah.
And then as a transplant, you came in, you're like, I got my orange on.
Yes,
you guys have fully embraced the
Go Vols. I have to say that for my team.
Yeah. They were like, because when the office that we leased, like the whole office was Tennessee.
It's this color. All of our walls.
The awning was orange. Everything was orange. And I was like, when are we painting? And they were like, we like the orange. And I'm like, I don't like that much orange.
It's a lot of orange right now. Next week, we will be painting next week.
No, it looks good, though. I'm excited about it. August 24th.
Yep, that's right.
August 24th is going to be the ribbon cutting up there. And then it'll be business as usual.
Off to the races.
And people coming in. Have you had anybody come to that office yet?
Yes, we have met clients at the office, and we have to tell them, so sorry, the floor is sticky. We just peeled up all the carpet that was glued down. We're under renovation. But they've loved it. And, we have some samples in the office, so we were able to show them siding colors and tile and flooring and all of that. So we made do, and they're building with us in Wears Valley. So it worked.
What's really cool about Tennessee is the amount of growth. So I think there's a lot of locals there that build, but that's kind of still the rural part of Tennessee. Mm-hmm. There's a lot to do up there. Oh, yeah. There's, good Lord. There's, Pigeon Forge and all that's like the Vegas, Southern Baptist Vegas, yes, right? So it's like, it's always been a tourist area. So there's tons of like people that don't live there that are coming through. So there's unique opportunities mm-hmm. in that market. Like, and being where the office is, those people driving by, especially this time of year, chances are they're there on vacation or, that, and they might not even know what Barndo is. And so being in a market like that where you have, people that have lived there their whole life because it's just rural Southern America, but then you also have this giant place of, I don't even know how to say it, like tourist area. I mean, it is a tourist area. You're in between like a staple city of commerce, and there's a university there that's, a historic university. And then right on the other side of the office is this giant tourist area. Mm-hmm. And so having that blend of people coming through there, we had someone reach out 2 weeks ago, and we're all coming up in a couple weeks, and we're going to meet with one of these people, but they build like the cabin communities, and saw the podcast, and we're like, you guys have any plans of coming to Tennessee? We're like, we're actually already there. And so they want to talk about doing like barndominium retreats. And so like a whole community of these like Airbnb barndominiums and stuff, and like what that becomes, I don't know, but it's just different. So like that market, like when we were looking at Tennessee market, like Nashville, is like is a big epicenter. And so people, there's tons of builds out there. There's tons of people building barndominiums in Nashville. I don't know that there's people building turnkey, and of course, me, I want to be there too. So I hope to be out in the western side and the central part of Tennessee in the next few years. But that eastern Tennessee piece, I don't think we had any idea how many people are moving to that area. And, and then you guys put up these future front door signs, and you have like the best backdrops
yes.
of anyone. Like that Wears Valley, like, wow.
Yep.
You guys posted that picture, and I'm like, I want to buy that. I'm just going to move there because it's beautiful. So I'm crazy excited about Tennessee because it allows us to deliver a product somewhere that wasn't even really on the radar. We just happened to go there, and we had so many people calling, and then like I say, we said, let's do it. Let's, the license, we got our license, we got everything set up in Tennessee, we launched the office, boom, and then you guys are just onboarding people like crazy. And so the projections for Tennessee, I mean, if you're in Eastern Tennessee, yes, we want to build for you. Yes. And I mean, I don't even think I have to say that. Like, people are just finding us, and it's been really, really cool. So I'm excited to see the growth that y'all have in that office, because I hate to say it, but I think you'll outgrow the place that we're building.
I'm worried about that. Don't say it.
very, very rapidly, just because of the sheer volume of people that are in the area. And it's mind-boggling that there's that much opportunity there to build, because in my mind, I've just always considered it like a tourist area. Like, I've only went up there for football games, when the Gamecocks go up there and whoop them. And
I don't know about that. You're gonna have to take that up with my teammates.
It's been very few times that I've came back excited from Tennessee. I've been up there several times, and I can only remember. I remember one specific where it was the first time we ever beat them in Tennessee as a Gamecock fan. Sorry, Tennessee people. But like, seriously, I've been there for football games, and I've been there on like vacations and stuff like that. We've done, one of the first years we did our annual, we did it up there, and it was just crazy to think, like, 2 years later, now we're there with an office, and we're growing that market. Talk a little bit about, from the client experience side, some things that you guys are doing to walk people through that, because the cool thing about that is now they have a contact. Mm-hmm. So regardless of who their sales agent is, they have a contact with someone who kind of gets to be that neutral party through the entire process, from the moment of onboarding to the time they get their keys. That's there to just listen. And some of the things that you guys are putting an emphasis on in your market that may be different than what we heard from Jordan and Haley, or the same, or something you heard that they didn't say, and whatever.
So for the client experience coordinator, I mean, our goal again is to be a neutral party. And so there can be things that come up during the build process, both with sales and with production, where a client either just needs to be heard, or they're having a hard time getting in contact with someone for whatever reason, that, their sales agent might be on vacation or something. But what we're doing is trying to create a really great experience from onboarding all the way through keys in hand. And so we want to celebrate every milestone that a client gets through. So, onboarding is a huge milestone. You're taking that baby step to exploring your build, but that really is, the portion that needs to happen before we can get to financing. And so then we, do a little celebration at financing, and we do a little celebration with the RSB, and we're like, welcoming clients in to meet their new project manager and kind of kicking off that build. And then we're working with clients through big portions of the build. So when we go to lay the concrete, if you want to put your hands in the concrete, we're going to let you know what date and time that's happening. We can have our photographer come out and take pictures that you can frame and keep, and just have that memory that we're creating that foundation. If you want to write affirmations or prayers on the framing of your home, we can have the photographer come out and get a photograph of you participating in that with your family, and just, really focusing on creating core memories. For a lot of people, they're building legacy homes, they're building on family land. This is going to be the forever home for them. And so we want it to be an enjoyable, fun experience from the start. And so that is part of what my role is in the East Tennessee office. And I know that every office has their own designated client experience coordinator.
Yep. Talk a little bit about finance, because that's probably the biggest question that we get. Everybody is doing their own research, and Facebook has no shortage of opinions. But finance is not hard.
No.
So talk a little bit about the process of finance. A client calls you and they're worried about how to pay for this thing because everyone's told them that you either got to pay cash or you have to work with some bank, the Central Bank of Kentucky or something, with some weird rates. Just talk about the options that you've seen and that you've been able to get clients, approved through.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I don't think we don't face financing issues. And we've really, modeled our build style to, mimic what lenders are looking for. And then also just that onboarding process gives you all of that paperwork in hand that a lender's like, oh, this is a perfect build packet. I can actually work with this. And we do that work for you, and we give that information over to your lender. But we have preferred lenders that we work with who finance our builds. Clients can use their own lender if they want, but our preferred lenders are used to our product. They know our product, they know our standards, they know the quality of work that we do, and they're able to, close our clients and get them funded. Most clients are doing a construction to perm loan. You could sometimes, use your land as collateral for the construction to perm, but that process, for us is fairly simple and straightforward.
Yep. And it's quick.
Yeah, it is.
In the beginning, getting financing was a difficult thing. And once we started doing it, it was amazing, because I remember knocking on doors to get lenders, and now they knock on ours.
That's right.
And so
we got a long list of people who want to finance our builds.
Yeah. But even I can remember the first 20 or 30 that went through, that was a 60 to 90 day process. And now,
it's fast.
Yeah, we have some that are closing 20 days after we submit the packet, and we're like, whoa, and not to say that that's going to be your experience, but but it can't. It's really cool to see. The more we build, the stronger our ability to get these things closed and hit the appraisal numbers and things like that. And so, I think we've solved the finance problem. So if you're thinking about building and you're worried about finance, don't be worried about finance, because we have that. We have done the hard work to make that super simple for the client. Mm-hmm. What are some of the biggest frequently asked questions that you encounter when people come in and are looking to do a barndominium?
Yeah, I think we get a lot of apples to oranges questions. So trying to understand our build style, which I think is unique to us. And so people are often wondering are these, red iron? Are they, pole barns? And so that's a big question. So we build with the steel truss post frame hybrid style of build. We build slab on grade, so it's a monolithic slab. And I think that makes us unique, specifically our engineered trusses. That's how we get these large free span spaces with cathedral ceilings. And it's kind of our staple that we're known for. And in East Tennessee, I think that is a new thing for people to see. I don't think they've seen that option in terms of what's available in East Tennessee. And so that's pretty exciting. So I also get a lot of questions about land prep and just what that process looks like. And so during that due diligence and onboarding period, we are walking through that with the clients. So, we didn't talk about this, but the first step in onboarding is getting a project manager out to your site. So he's going to come out and determine site readiness. He's going to look at where's construction access. Sometimes clients are putting a stake where they're wanting to the home. He's going to determine, is this a great place for the home? Can we build here? Do you need a stem wall? Do you need a basement? And that's going to inform how we move into design. But when we're in that design phase, once we get back a set of prelim plans, we'll send a grader out to give you a quote. So we handle construction access at the Barndo Co. We handle pad prep at the Barndo Co. And that just makes it easy for the client. So we just wrap that all into that onboarding process. And then in terms of utilities, we can help walk you through. We'll help you, gather your documents for your perk test and where's your septic going to go. And if you need any quotes, we'll assist you with that.
Yep. I think that's the one hidden piece that people don't think about. Yeah. And so I know we put an effort in saying like, hey, you've got a budget in your mind and you're trying to do simple math on the cost to build. Those numbers that we throw out, like the generic price per square foot, that's building a house.
That's right.
That has no access in it. There's no driveway. There's no pad prep. We allot a small amount for the pad prep that normally covers the actual pad.
Right.
But if there's additional work to get it ready for that, that's an unknown cost. And so, coming in like doing placeholders, sometimes, we'll say, hey, 10, 20%, and really that first visit from the project manager helps the sales agent understand like what percentage we should be holding back a little bit for that, because we can't control the dirt.
That's right.
And so I think the biggest frustration for people is they don't know what they don't know. And so if you have land and we encounter something like that, the cost difference of doing a basement or having to put in stem walls can be substantial. And I think that catches people by surprise. And again, that is why onboarding is such a valuable resource to the homeowner, because, when I used to do sales, obviously, like I was the original salesperson. And I used to tell people like, if someone gave me a jigsaw puzzle, I don't care if it's a 40-piece puzzle like my kids do, or if it's one of the, a 1,500-piece jigsaw puzzle, the chances of me putting it together successfully, there's a lot of variables there. How many pieces are there, right? So the more pieces, the longer it takes. It's a little bit more tricky, but I can tell you what will make it extremely hard to do is if you don't even have a picture to look at. And so onboarding is like getting the picture of the puzzle. And now we have to look at that picture and say, okay, if that's a picture, how many pieces are there? Okay, well, you have a lot of stuff going on here. There's a lot, you bought a piece of raw dirt on the side of a mountain with trees all over it. There's never been a home. There's never been a field. Right. There's a lot of pieces here. And so now we've got to diagnose all those pieces and find all the corners and the edges and then start working our way inward. And that is the value of onboarding is we don't know. We're building a home on your dirt. We've never built a home on this dirt, and that is the variable. I could tell you what it costs to build this house. People see our posts on Facebook, and if we post a barn and there's 700 comments, 641 of those are, what's this exact home cost? Why don't you put a price? Tell us what the cost is. What was the cost of this house? And we're kind of hesitant to respond. We'll give like some blankets like, hey, it's going to be somewhere in this. And people get so mad. No, I want to know what this exact home costs. It doesn't matter what this exact home costs because there are variables in this one that will be different than the variables in yours. So it's not that we're trying to hide a price. I mean, we'll tell you exactly what it costs to build the home. It's all the other components that go into that. And if I tell you, well, they built this house for $600,000. And then when we quote it for you and it's $640,000, You're like, oh, you're trying to get rich on us. No, it's different pieces of the puzzle here. So the value in onboarding is we get to look at all of that. And like you said, we're going to send out a grader. We're going to get all that cost built in. It's super transparent on the proposal that they receive. You have the cost of the home, then you have all these additional things, all the prep work, the septic work, if there's a well, if it's tying into sewer, there's different connection fees. There's so many things that we have to figure out, and we have to call those utilities. You know, another thing that people don't think about is if you're in a rural area and you're putting in a home, and, you know, let's just say that you're like, hey, I want my home to be here, and you can afford to put an 800-foot driveway in to get back there to it. The other side of that is, how are you going to get the utilities there?
That's right.
And a lot of utility companies will run the utilities because they want the service. Some of them are going to charge you because they don't have utility easements there. They're having to put in additional power poles, or they're having to trench a line 2,000 feet to get it there. Those are all the things that nobody thinks about, because that's not part of the dream, right? In my dream, it was a stone fireplace and the big timber porch. And of course it had power. You know, the lights were on when I was in there, and like my big gas stove was there, but they didn't think about, well, how do we get it there? Like, where's the gas coming from? Do you live somewhere where you have natural gas? 90% of our clients do not. You know, not to say that they can't. I mean, we put natural gas in all the time, but a lot of times it's a propane tank because we're building in rural areas, and we're building we don't have a lot of clients come to us saying, hey, we bought this, you know, half-acre lot in a subdivision and we want to build this home on. I was actually shocked. I was in Myrtle Beach last week with my daughters. They were down there doing their national dance competition. Yes. And we just launched Horry County. And so I hit up Scott, who's our project manager down there, and I was like, you know, hey, man, let's go look at some jobs and go to lunch. And he had just got CO on the first Horry County job. And he was like, let's meet out there, man. He's like, before they move in, he's like, they're moving in tomorrow morning. He's like, but, you know, the photographer's coming later today. Like, it's perfect time to come see this one. So I met him out there, and I was coming, like, he gave me the address, and I'm coming through, and it was actually in a neighborhood. It was mind-boggling. I love stuff like that. That's because awesome. I love variables. Yeah. Because you just don't see it all the time. Like, we turned off this road, and I'm like, oh, and it was rural where we were at. Like, but when I turned into this neighborhood, and there's just like home, you know, and there's a cul-de-sac, and then here's this barndominium in the middle of it. Like, you don't see that every day. Yeah. But like I say, the majority of our people are buying huge pieces of land way out in the country, because that's generally who we're attracting to build this style of home. And so again, those variables can be crazy sometimes. They can. And you know, it knocks the wind out of people's sails sometimes when they think about $100,000 worth of work being done before the home even starts. So if you're considering this, there's a lot you don't know, but there's also a lot we don't know. And so there's no magic wand. We have to do the dirty work. You know, in our internal system, we use 90 because we operate off EOS in our company. In the description for sales, there is a line item of this. It says dirty boots. Yep. And everybody's like, what does that mean? And I'm like, you'll find out. Yep. Because there is an element of, you got to get your boots dirty. We got to get out there on the dirt. We got to understand what's going on. Yeah. And there's just unforeseen variables on each job. And, you know, like in our perspective, like if we're building 200 homes, which we're very close to being at that stage, I think this year we're around 120, 130 houses. Next year is there's every indication we're going to be in that 200 plus range. That doesn't sound like a lot to track home building, right? You got track home builders that build 300 to 600 houses pretty regularly. I mean, they're big builders, but they build 300 to 600 houses pretty regularly. But to build that many homes, build on your lot in 400 and something counties in 3 different states, there's so much that goes into it. And you know, I was talking to one of our salespeople. I can't remember who this was. So whoever you were, come up and remind me that I should have gave you credit on the podcast. But they were talking to someone on the phone. I was listening to them, and they were like, listen, I could tell you what this house costs, but if you were to build it in the low country of South Carolina or the mountains of Tennessee, there's a chance that there'll be $100,000 difference in costs for a number of different reasons, based primarily on the land and the location and the access and all that kind of stuff. So that's a big one. And I know people, you don't understand, and that's why we're here, right? There's no commitment to build. We're not going to twist your arm to sign a contract. We're just going to get you the numbers.
That's right.
So I tell, I even told the sales team, like there's a moment where we are in sales, right? We're trying to portray value to get you to come on board, take that baby step. But the moment that we onboard until the moment that the proposal is ready to be signed, we're not sales agents. We are consultants.
That's right.
And we're there to come alongside of you and figure this out together. Right. And so, I think you do a great job of that.
Thank you.
I know that the land piece is the anomaly to everybody, and trying to solve that sometimes is frustrating. It's frustrating for us, and I know it's frustrating for homeowners because you just don't know what you don't know.
That's right.
But we do make it pretty easy.
We do.
And again, we can't control the outcome. But,
no, we can't.
but we do come in and help you get all those variables so you know what you're spending and what it's going to take to make your dream reality. That's right. Anything else that you could think of from a client perspective that, when they get on the phone with you, you hear this all the time, and that is like a point of fear or, unknowingly like getting started?
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest one is just is the unknown. And again, just to reiterate, onboarding, like we are here to help walk you through that process without any commitment. We're not making you sign on a dotted line and committing you to building with us. But you will go through that process. And at the end of it, you will have a nice packet, whether you choose to build with us, you want to go look at a different builder, you want to explore other options, you're going to have something to compare apples to oranges. And that's our goal for you is to get a number on the paper, to get you a plan and to kind of get you set up for success, even if you don't end up using us.
That's awesome. All right. So switching gears.
Yes.
Because there's clients that watch this, but there's also other business owners that watch it. There's people that other builders, things like that. From a perspective of working here, what would you say is the biggest impact for you to be excited? Because you were like, I've never had a job where I'm like chomping at the bit to get there.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's just having radical ownership over what I do with my day. And I think, sales, we have goals, we have processes, we have systems that we follow, standards. But for me, it's knowing that I've been put in a position and that people are trusting me and I'm hitting all of the markers along the way. And I just love having ownership over my day, over my schedule, and knowing that, I have goals that I'm meeting that are continuing to inch us forward. It makes me excited to see that we continue to expand our counties, expand our reach into other states. And I want to see this company grow. I think our product is phenomenal. I think our core values keep everyone, operating at such a high capacity. And I think that our output is at a standard that I don't see in other areas of the industry. And so that makes me really excited.
Yeah. And we put a lot of emphasis on people that work here.
Yeah.
We're committed. I know people see it like, we do the quarterly offsites, we do our big annual trips together, and sometimes like it's unlike, I've had so many people come up to me, especially this last quarterly, because we've had a lot of new hires. And a lot of them are like coming from big organizations. And they come in and they're like, I've never been to an event where it was about me.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a huge piece of our success is like, it's not the Ross and TJ show. We don't take everybody out to talk about company goals and just that. It's very personable. And then, the giving aspect of it, like we have Summer Bash coming up.
We do.
And it's going to be a busy couple weeks because we've got, it's like home show in Knoxville, Summer Bash, and then the grand opening in Knoxville. So it's going to be a lot of traveling. Yeah. But from your perspective, being involved in the company and we have this never stop giving core value to push into the communities and to give back and to do that through something like a Summer Bash, and as we expand, I put it in there the other day, like, hey, we've got to figure out what are our anchors in these other markets. Yes. In addition to what we do as a corporate entity, what are we doing locally everywhere we go? But like Summer Bash, for you, like, how does that tie into like your buy-in inside of a company when it's more than just build houses, make money, build houses, make money?
Yeah, absolutely. So Summer Bash supports the Carolina Miracle League, and I participated in Summer Bash last year. I thought it was such a great event. It was so fun to see all of the kids be able to come. You know, the water park closed down. They had free access to, you know, have fun, splash around. I've been involved in other events with the Carolina Miracle League. I did their trunk or treat last Halloween, and so that was a really, really great experience. And you know, our commitment to never stop giving is evident, you know, when every single season we're participating in something that has to do with Carolina Miracle League. And I know that other offices are, you know, getting involved with local charity options. At our office, we actually just had a meeting on Tuesday to vote on who we wanted to support locally. And so we'll be announcing that information soon. But yeah, it's, you know, the never stop giving aspect, you know, every build that we do, a portion of that goes back to the Carolina Miracle League. And I know that you also participate in Miss South Carolina. And so it just warms my heart that we have something local that everyone is excited to support, and that we have consistent participation across the team showing up to these events to you know, to represent the Barndo Co., but to also let them know that we're a community partner with you and we're here alongside you, wanting to see your vision flourish.
Yep. Yeah. What's really cool is that you just said that y'all had a meeting.
Yes, we did.
And I don't even know anything about it. And so if you're listening to this and you're underestimating what the power of being generous can be, like I did a whole episode with this with Pete Wilson, who's a rock star. He's out in Nashville. And he talked about the power of generosity, and like it's contagious beyond anything. And the fact that you are opening this office and you're building all these buildings and all that stuff, but you guys have, like, y'all sat down and said, hey, who are we going to give money to? Who are we going to support in this area? Yep. It becomes bigger. And so the buy-in gets even bigger because it's not about me. And the less we can make it about us and ourselves and everything like that, there is so much glue to culture that comes around being able to give. And when we stand up and we hand big checks to people, and when we go out and we volunteer and we, you know, are serving the community, it changes the perception of like, we're not doing this just for me. And so that's really cool. I'm excited. I love hearing that. Yeah. Like all of our offices have been that way. Like when we launch an office, we tend to be writing some kind of charitable donation check before we make a lease payment or a mortgage payment on an office that we're putting in that area. And I hope that continues. And I know you guys are going to champion. I'm excited to hear who you guys pick to sponsor up in the East Tennessee market, because that's what makes us who we are. So now we're going to jump into barn burners. This is my favorite part because we kind of scour the internet and we take, you know, everybody's questions about barndominiums or anything associated to our company, and we try to answer them. So you're going to get put on the spot a little bit here. So the question is, if you're not in our build area, but you found us online and you're interested in our plans, what's the process for getting that plan and connecting with a builder in their area?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's two ways you can do it. You can go right to our website, which is www.thebarndoco.com, and any of the floor plans on the page, you can just click Buy Now, and it will walk you through the purchasing process. The other option is to fill out the contact form, put in your county and state, even if we don't build in your area, and you'll be sent a text message letting you know you're out of range. But if you want to buy floor plans, respond to that text message with the floor plan you want, and someone from our team will reach out to you directly and walk you through that process.
And then you're kind of on your own to find a builder.
Yes.
But the plans are step one, and they're super easy to access. Even if you want to do something custom, we even have that option to where you can still do custom plans with us, and then we'll send you those plans. The important piece from my perspective on this is you got to find a builder that builds how we build if you want us to do your engineering. If you just want the plans, those plans will be architectural plans. They'll have everything that a builder needs to construct that plan, but you will have to do engineering. And this is where people lose their mind is they're like, well, these plans ain't even stamped. Well, the stamp means nothing if we don't know what you're building. And so that is a common misconception of like, how do we buy stamp plans? You know, I saw on this lot, they come fully stamped. Well, that's great. If I sell you stamp plans, then you are obligated to build it how we engineered it. If you buy a set of plans off our website, you can meet with a multitude of builders because, believe it or not, there's more than one way to skin a cat, and there's tons of different options. There's tons of different build styles. We get pictures all the time, like, hey, you know, we just built this maple plan by the Barndo Co. and it's complete red iron construction, or it's a conventional build like with shingle roof, and you know, and they just like the plan. So it puts the freedom back in your court to go and figure that out. And once you find a builder, chances are that builder can get those plans engineered, and they may have to make some tweaks and modifications to them. That's not a problem. And if that happens and you need us to make some tweaks and modifications, you can always reach back out. We can connect you with our design department. There may be some charges in there to make those modifications for you. But if you want the plan, you get the plan. That plan is issued to your build. You have the unlimited use of that plan for that particular build. You know, and we even have other builders that reach out about getting our plans, and those plans are for one release, and we're going to put an address on it so that when it's filed with the county, so that, you know, they're not intended to be used over and over and over again, although we know people do that. But the goal is to get you the plans so that you can start getting all the information to build. How they build it determines where you engineer it and how it's engineered, because the engineering is the structural connections to make that house. And here's the thing. If you build a conventional style home, chances are you don't have to have a full set of engineered stamps, because if they're doing engineered wood trusses, that typically will cover what needs to be there. And it's not the entire thing doesn't need to have a super set of structurals on it. If you're doing a red iron building or a steel kit, you know, there's so many different ways to build it. Find out what builder that you feel comfortable with, what their style is, and allow them to navigate getting the engineering done for your local area. And don't just try to say, well, I bought these plans and I need them stamped, because they're going to be stamped a certain style of construction. And if you find a builder that does not build that way, then you just wasted money, or, you know, it's going to put more pressure on you. So I would say buy the plans, go meet with builders, figure out how they're going to construct that home, and then navigate engineering. So the question is, what advice would we give to a potential client who's considering building a Barndo for the first time?
Okay, well, I have two pieces of advice. One is to talk to a lot of builders. Again, back to the apples and oranges, you want to make sure that you're fully understanding how they work, what is the process, you know, what does it cost, you know, where in line are you signing that contract, and kind of do your research. Also, maybe have a couple graders come out to your land and give you some quotes so that you at least have an idea of like what it might cost. A lot of graders and septic people will come out and give a free quote. My second piece of advice to people who are thinking about building with us is to embrace onboarding. I'm just going to hammer it in again. I think that it builds so much confidence in the client when they know, you know, at the end of that process, what they're getting into, and they can make an informed decision. And we provide that as a service to clients because we understand how necessary it is.
But I appreciate you coming down here and doing the show with me. I'm excited about the Seymour office in the Knoxville area, and look forward to coming up to the home show and then coming up there for the big ribbon cutting and seeing all the smiling faces that you guys continue to post in our internal Slack channel. It seems like every day y'all have a site visit or something going on up there.
Yes, we do.
Tennessee is going to be a slam dunk, and I'll give you a lot of the credit for that. So I appreciate you.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in to the Barndo Show podcast. If you're watching on YouTube or wherever you're listening to this content, hit subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And then be sure to check us out on all of our social media platforms at the Barndo Co. Super simple to find us. And then when you're ready to dive in a little more, maybe look around some of our available floor plan options, or take a look at the gallery of our work, or maybe you're ready to connect with our team and explore what it looks like to build your dream barndominium, you can visit us online at thebarndoco.com.